Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode. We're working on Unit 4, Lessons 5 and 6. We're still working on Into the Past. Let's get started. We're going to read and understand a short email. We will read and understand a conversation about an email. We will write a paragraph to give your opinion about big companies and what they can do to protect the environment. We will listen to a debate about tourism in historic places. We will listen to understand a conversation about an email. We will give opinions about the positive and negative effect of tourism. As for vocabulary, we will work on the words company, damage, and debate. As for life skills, we're going to focus on environmental issues, self-management, and critical thinking within the unit. Now, listen to Amira and Hannah have a class debate. Who thinks tourism is good for historic places and who thinks it is bad? What do you think, Hannah? Is tourism good for historic places? Yes, Amira, I think it is. Tourists bring money to an area. This helps the local people. I don't think so. A lot of the money goes to the big companies, not local people. Maybe, but some holiday companies help the environment and the local people. I don't agree that tourism helps the environment. Tourists drop litter and damage places in other ways, like sitting on ancient ruins. I can see what you mean, but most tourists behave well. They know it is important to protect historic places. Now let's answer the question. Who thinks tourism is good for historic places and who thinks it is bad? You can pause the video to think. Of course, Hannah thinks tourism is good for historic places, but Amira disagrees. She thinks it's a bad idea to have tourism in historic places. Question 2. Now you will rewind the audio and listen one more time to complete the phrases in the debate. You will fill in the blanks with I don't agree, I don't think so, I see what you mean, and maybe. Number 1 is done for us. Let's read together. What do you think, Hannah? Is tourism good for historic places? And then Hannah says, yes, I think it is. Then in number 2, Amira says, I don't think so. Then Hannah says, for number 3, maybe. And then number 4, Amira says, I don't agree. And then Hannah says, I see what you mean. So when do we use I don't agree? We use I don't agree when we talk about something that we are against or something that we think or have a different opinion of. You can also say, I don't think so. That's another way of showing disagreement. If you want to show that you're understanding someone, you can say, I see what you mean. If you're not sure whether you agree or disagree, you can say, maybe. Now we will move on to exercise 3. Read the conversation again and complete the table. Can you add your own ideas? Let's look at the table. Is tourism good for historic places? Yes or no? For yes, it says it brings money to an area. So if you think tourism is good, think of something that is useful that comes out of having tourists in a historic place. And if you think it's bad, or you think it's not good having tourists in a historic place, then give a reason as to no or why you think they shouldn't visit those places. You can say, yes, tourism is good for historic places because holiday companies may help the environment and locals. When people visit historic places, they understand why we need to protect it. If you say no, you can say, historic places shouldn't be visited by tourists because a lot of money goes to big companies and not regular or local people. Tourists drop litter and damage places. Tourists often travel by car, and this causes more air pollution. Now, let's look at the life skills box on the top middle part of the page. It is important to protect all parts of the environment. How can we help protect historic places? How can we protect the environment when we travel? And what can big companies do to protect the environment? Of course, these life skill questions are answered in the table below. But we can say we should respect historic places and we should follow the rules. As for number 2, we can say we should use forms of transportation that do not pollute the environment, such as bikes, electric buses, and so on. As for number 3, they can use technology that does not cause pollution and give more to charity. Now we will move on to lesson 6. Read the report and look at the photos. Where are the stone circles and what do you think they can tell us? Let's read together. Where are the stone circles? There are more than 1,000 stone circles of Senegambia. They follow the river Gambia for 350 kilometers across 2 countries, Senegal and Gambia. So where can we find the stone circles? We'll find them in Senegal and Gambia. Why are the stone circles important? The stone circles are very important to the history of Senegal and Gambia because they tell us about the people who made them and how they lived. How old are the stone circles? The oldest stone circles are around 2,300 years old, and the youngest are around 500 years old. This means that people were building the circles for more than 1,800 years. Can tourists visit them? Tourists can visit them, but they must not damage them. Money from tourism helps to pay for local people to look after the stones. It is important to protect the stones. Now, answering question 1, where are the stone circles and what do you think they can tell us? The stone circles are in Senegal and Gambia and they tell us about the people who made them and how they lived. Now we will move on to exercise 2. Pause the video, read the report again, and then let's answer the questions. How many stone circles are there? The first one is done. There are more than 1,000 stone circles. How old are the stone circles? Of course, they are around 2,300 years old. As for question 3, how long were people making the stone circles? How long were people making the stone circles for? They were making them for more than 1,800 years. Number 4, what does the money from tourism help the local people to do? It helps them to look after the stones. Now we will move on to exercise 3, which is writing a report. You need to write a report of a place you searched in lesson 1. Include the following information. What and where is the historic place? Why is it important in your opinion? How old is it? And what are people doing to protect it? Remember, you need to write a subheading for each paragraph, label a map, pictures, photos, and diagrams when you add them to your report, and use bullet points for each fact. Once you're done, find out some facts about the history of Elephantine Island in Aswan. Now to our final part of this episode, the exit slip. Why is visiting historical places important from your point of view? Write your answers down in your notebooks. Okay guys, you did a very good job today. That's a wrap. This was Ms. Sarah Bassioni. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Goodbye.